I'm here in Israel, and there's definitely a palpable sense of vulnerability and fear, as well as some excitement about what they're witnessing all over the Middle East and these countries we've just been discussing. Would you share that concern, or would you be excited? What should they be feeling in Israel? Is this opportunity, or could this go horribly wrong for them?
You know, I think it's very understandable, Pierce, that they would feel exactly the mixed emotions that you're describing. A relationship, a bedrock relationship between Israel and Egypt, the foundation of the Camp David peace, which has been the foundation of Israeli security policy, and in some ways its economic growth, it feels like it's imperiled. It's not come apart yet, but Israel is legitimately concerned about that. At the same time, Israel has said for so many years, you really can't make peace with these Arab dictatorships. They have to become democracies. And only when they become democracies can you really make a stable peace with them. Well, that's what we hope, but it has not happened yet. We are in the process of witnessing. And so I understand that Israelis would be looking at this current moment with mixed emotions.
If you were sitting down, as I am, with Prime Minister Netanyahu tomorrow, what would you ask him?
Well, I don't think he'd talk to me, but good luck. Basically, I think it's, how do you see the world around you? Because as I see it, what's happened to the Middle East and what's happened to Israel's predicament in the Middle East is unprecedented and really requires a whole strategic rethink at several levels, Pierce. Let's start at the highest level. So a whole swath of countries that surrounded Israel, that have been living in some ways outside of history for the last 50 years, that is isolated from the world's biggest trends by tyranny, the Cold War, and oil, are really coming into history. And it is going to be a turbulent time. And I think in this turbulent time, it is of vital Israeli interest to get out of their story, if Israel can, okay? Try to get out of their story. Israel is not the cause of this turbulence, okay? It was not the spark for it, but that doesn't mean it cannot be drawn into it. Get out of the West Bank, get out of East Jerusalem, settle the problem on the basis of the President Clinton's peace parameters, build the highest wall you want, but get out of their story, because their story is going to be in turbulence. Second, with Egypt in particular, Israel has enjoyed peace wholesale with Egypt. It had peace with one man, Hosni Mubarak, and he delivered the whole country. As Egypt democratizes, and if it is successful, Israel is going to have peace retail. It's going to have peace with 80 million Egyptians. And therefore, they are going to have a say much more in the quality of Israeli-Egyptian relations. And that's why I think it is vital for Israel to do everything it can to test. I have no idea whether the Palestinians can organize themselves for a peace treaty. They're divided too. But I know this, Pierce, that at a time when Israeli Jews are demographically heading for a situation where they will be a minority to Palestinian Arabs in the area between the Mediterranean and the Jordan River, it is in Israel's vital interest to test and then test again whether it has a Palestinian partner for a secure peace, especially at a time when the Palestinians have what I believe, and I think many Israelis would agree, the most decent and responsible Palestinian leadership they've ever had.
Finally, Tom, and briefly, if you don't mind,
please.
What about President Obama's position on all this? He seems to be taking a slightly detached view of all these events in the Middle East. Is that the prudent course of action?
Well, there's two things I would say. One, regarding Egypt and all these revolutions, there was an impression out there that Obama had a Save Mubarak lever in the Oval Office, and he was just too stupid to pull it. There was no Save Mubarak lever, okay? Once this started, as I said, stability left the building, and there was no way we could save him. Only Mubarak could save himself, and it was too late. As far as the peace process is concerned, I would love to see it start with Israel, putting a real peace plan on the table, or the Palestinians. But if they are not ready to do that, if they're too paralyzed to do that, I would certainly encourage the President of the United States to put a peace plan on the table and really catalyze a discussion among Israelis and Palestinians this is it, folks. This is the only way forward. Who's ever ready, basically, come hither. We're happy to help. Otherwise, you're really on your own.
Tom Friedman, thank you very much, and I hope we get very good news on your 4 colleagues very soon.
Thanks very much, Pearson. Thanks for having me.
Coming up, pressure on Israel's Prime Minister. What will it take to get peace with the Palestinians? I'll ask the New Yorker's David Remnick.